Am I wrong for telling my wife being a stay-at-home mom isn't difficult? Me, 48, and my wife, 48, married when we were 22 and have 5 kids, MF25, F22, M19. The fifth, F3 one was a surprise. Our other children are adults. For the majority of their lives, I was the stay-at-home parent. I cooked, cleaned, attended games, etc. from the moment they came home from the hospital until their mid-teens when I deemed them old enough to stay home by themselves. Like usual, I quit my job and had been watching her at home, but 8 months ago, my wife comes to me and says she'd like to quit her job and watch our daughter. I was skeptical because she had never done it before, but she's her mother and assumed she could handle it like I did. Well, she hasn't been handling it well at all. Whenever I come home from work, the bathroom is a mess, there's no dinner cooked, our daughter is a mess, and my wife is just watching TV. After I tidy up the house, cook dinner, which I don't mind, I've been doing it for 25 plus years, and get ready for bed, she complains about how being a Sam is hard. Personally, I think she's lazy, and I voiced my thoughts. She tried to tell me it's different, but I told her it's not. I was able to watch the twins with little to no difficulty, and all the way up until they were 14. I watched our third and fourth child with no hassle either. I had the house cleaned, the food ready, the kids clean, homework done, went to their games, school meetings, etc. I never asked for help and managed because I was a dad. For her to have so much trouble watching a 3-year-old is ridiculous. She's been silent with me since that conversation. But when I came home from work, the house was actually clean, food was cooked, and our daughter was clean as well. I'm starting to feel like TA because maybe it's different for women, but how can raising children be so difficult and different for us? Note, each time after giving birth, she did not immediately return to work. She did stay at home for about 1 year so she could recuperate. She asked this time for herself since childbirth was a lot for her. I, along with hired help, watched the children and took care of the house. We come from a very wealthy family, so returning to work has never been troublesome for me. I want everyone to understand that I do love my wife, but she has not been able to take care of the house or our daughter. Being a SAHP means taking care of the house and children, and she does neither. My wife claims she's not depressed, but I can't allow this to continue. I'll have to discuss with her if she would like to return to work or if she wants both of us to be SAHP. We have the funds to retire early. I feel as if she may reject this, and if she does, I will put my foot down and hire help for her. She needs it more than she is willing to admit. Calling her out the way I did may have been harsh, and I will apologize for that, but it did seem to have an effect since she did take care of the house and our daughter. Relevant comments. YTA, you were 22, she's almost 50. It's a bit of a difference. I was watching our daughter up until 8 months ago. We are both nearing 50, yet I did not struggle with our daughter. Why stay? YTA for handling it like that. Is she struggling because she's older? From mental health issues? Lots of different variables you completely steamrollered over. Plus, you had hired help. Why haven't you done the same thing for her? Before she officially took over, I asked her why she wanted to quit. Wondered if it was depression or something going on at work because she loves working. She said none of the above and that she felt like she was missing out on raising our kids. Now, I don't know why she feels as if she was missing out. While she may not have been a Sam for our other children, she did spend plenty of time with us growing up. That wasn't my question. Wanting to be a stay-at-home parent is understandable. Why is she struggling now? People being messy when they usually aren't is often a signal that something is wrong. A young child is a lot for anyone, let alone someone who hasn't done it for 20 years. Pull your head out of your ass. She doesn't want hired help. Before she officially took over, I asked her if it was because of depression or anything else. She said she didn't have depression and that she wanted to be around her kids more often. My wife was never the tidiest even before she became a Sam, but at the time I was always home, so I was always able to pick up after her and keep the house clean. I expected my wife to watch our daughter and take care of the house. Instead, I come home to it in complete disarray and I pick up after her. Info. You've been doing it for 25 years, re-tidying the house, watching the kids, and cooking. But also, you had hired help for the first 4 kids. So what did this help do? After my wife gave birth, she wanted to take a break. Giving birth took a lot out of her. She was on a break for about a year, so I hired a nanny to watch the children during the time she wanted to go on dates, see her family, etc. But the help was only there for about a year because my wife was ready to go back to work and I could stay home full time. I hope this makes sense. So why not hire the help now, seeing as your wife seems to be needing it? She doesn't want the help. When I first suggested about a month into being a SAM, she turned it down. She was upset that I thought she needed help taking care of our daughter. There's nothing wrong with the help, but she insisted it wasn't necessary. We have the money, so it's not an issue. Maybe it's a feeling of inferiority. YTA. What may have been easy for you 15-ish years ago might not be easy for her now. Do you know why she's not cleaning, etc.? My husband and I have this exact problem. I do Saturdays alone with our son and he does Mondays. Every Saturday he does not come home to a clean house, but every Monday I do. The difference is I put all my energy into my son during the day, doing activities. Now, I'm not saying my husband doesn't, but there is significant time my son spends alone while he cleans. Nobody does it their way wrong. It's just done their way. Maybe this is what is occurring. You also said you had hired help. I would sit down and talk with her. I don't know why she's not cleaning, and it's nerve-wracking. I find juice all over the floor, food splattered on the table, the bathroom is mucky, and there were even times she left the stove on. Half the time, I have to give our daughter another bath because of how much food is in her hair. Before the argument, I asked her what is going on, and she just laughed it off and said, since it's her first time, I need to go easy on her, and that she'll get better with time. But does she not realize all the dangerous situations she's putting our daughter in? She doesn't want a nanny or someone to come by to clean and cook. I don't know what else to make of this other than her being lazy. So with the other kids, she did watch them during her maternity break, apart from when she was going out, and then you hired a nanny to watch them. But then, when she returned to work after a year, you took over their care full time. You know, looking after kids when you're in your 20s versus 40s is a whole other ballgame, right? Not that it's ever easy, but as we get older, it certainly doesn't get easier. I'm going to say YTA. Hire the help, believe your wife, she wants help. That should be enough rather than you asking strangers to justify that you think she's lazy. No, she didn't watch them. The time my wife took off was her vacation. I was home with her, but when we went out, we had hired help. I can count on both hands how often my wife watched our children after giving birth. My wife doesn't want to hire anyone, and I was watching our daughter up until 8 months ago. Info, I know you stayed home until 8 months ago, but did you do it with or without hired help? Because that would determine my asshole judgment. Without. Stay tuned for the next part of the story. I just had a discussion with my wife about why she hasn't been doing her part as a SAHM. We argued back and forth for a while, her saying that she still needs time to adjust, that I'm shaming her, and that it's different for mothers. I brought up hiring help, and she quickly shot this down, becoming irritated that I suggested she needed help taking care of her home and our child. It felt like we were going in circles. I eventually cut her off and listed all the dangers she had been putting our daughter in since becoming a SAHM, explaining how even though I went back to work, I come back and have to clean up after her because she hasn't done her part. I told her I was sick of this. I apologized for calling her lazy, but she then broke down crying. My wife admitted that being a SAM was something she didn't think she'd be good at, but she desperately wanted to be there to raise our daughter because she wasn't there for our other kids. She said that when I was raising the children, I made it seem so easy because everything was neat and the children were happy and orderly. I told my wife that it's not true. She was always with us. We got out some picture books, and I pointed out all the times she was with us, every trip we took, the games she tried her hardest to attend, taking time off work for holidays, bedtime stories, etc. She may not have been there for everything like I was, but me and the children always saw her efforts. She even thought our children held resentment towards her, but that couldn't be farther from the truth. I asked her if she was possibly going through depression, but she assured me she's not. We decided to attend couples therapy along with some individual therapy for her. I asked if she enjoyed being with our daughter at home, and she admitted that being able to spend all this time with her was refreshing and possibly the happiest she's ever been. She promised that she'll do her part and keep the house tidy to the best of her ability and be more careful so that she doesn't put her in danger anymore. We sat down for a while, and I gave my wife some ideas she and our daughter can do together while I'm at work, like going to the museum, aquarium, or a picnic. These were things I did with our kids, but I did tell her I was still going to hire someone to help her. She attempted to say no, but I shot her down. Being a SAM is a lot harder for her than she realizes. I gave her all the pros that having help can provide. After a bit, my wife was more open to the idea. I'm glad we were able to get this out in the open. I'm still wondering if I should take some time off work before I hire someone to help my wife, as that may be more comfortable for her. I'll bring this up tomorrow. I'm going to plan something with our children this weekend, possibly a barbecue. I want to tell my children how my wife's been feeling. I know for a fact they love her, but I bet my wife would feel a lot better to see it come from them.